Hey everyone, welcome back to UE5 BP Guru. Today we're going to be looking at continuing on with our attack stuff. Let's open up our battle proxy. So in the last episode we started setting up the attack for the player, and we had it select a move and do an accuracy check. Now I've been playing around with this quite a bit, and is it going to open? You going to open it for me? It's being slow. I've been playing around with it a lot to get things working for me. Some things are subject to change. So if you're following this along, potentially this stuff may just change down the line. So just be prepared for that, because a lot of the stuff I'm doing in this series is actually new to me as well. I'm very much more used to doing kind of third-person shooters and that sort of stuff. So we're gonna set this up today. But as I say, just be prepared that down the line I might do like a kind of cleanup episode. We have been streamlining a lot of this along the way and sort of tidying things up. So just to quickly go over what's happening in this player attacks, we're selecting our move from our move list. And it's checked. We predetermine ours. So when it comes to doing the enemy just picks a random move. Whereas for us, we are actually selecting our move. So in order to do that, if you remember correctly, in our event graph, we have obviously each button attack, and we have it select via 0, 1, etc. 1, 2, 3. We've already been through this in the last episode. So it uses that, we drive it via our button to select our attack. Then we do an accuracy check, which is obviously just checking our accuracy and the move's accuracy times together, and then it's times by the evasiveness, and then we get a random float within that. So that was that. And then we're going to go, oops, wrong one. Let's go back to player attacks. Then we go down, we just check to see what the type of move is. Once we've checked whether it hits or not, we then check to see if it's a status move. If it is, we go into stat attack. If it's false, we go down and we do a physical attack. So let's go. We're going to concentrate on stat attacks today. So obviously we bring this branch in to see if it's affecting the self. Now if it's not affecting our own players, so like buffing our attack, defense, etc., we must be debuffing someone else's attack. So we'll follow down to here first. So we break to get our move, and we break to get the debuff, the D/buff section, which I don't know if I ever covered that, but in let's go down to where our creatures are. Let's get our TM move strat. All I've created is a name variable that's a map with a float. And within this, if I open it up, I've got my attack, defense, special attack, special defense, speed, health, accuracy. Yeah. I need to obviously add, there's definitely some more, there's another one on here. I need to add evasiveness on here actually, so we can't actually buff or debuff evasiveness at the moment. But we could, and I actually probably want to put the defaults to 1. Saves me typing those in every time. There we go. And if I add one more, and I'm just going to put evasiveness. Let's just go with that. Not sure if I spelled that right, but that's fine. So we can basically change these values on our attack strat, on our move list, just say on our move data table, to suggest whether we want to increase or decrease something. So at the moment, there is a problem with this when we're doing self and non-self, but that's something for another day. For now, we'll just concentrate on setting up our normal stuff. As I said, the subjects change at the moment. So we're going to debuff our enemy. So we're going to get this list, and we're going to pull out, and we're going to get a find. And all we're doing is we're typing in the name of each field. I have got evasiveness on that, but it wasn't on the list. Weird. I might have added it in manually. I don't know. Anyway, so we got a find. And what we're doing is we are finding that variable and we're timesing that by our Ringmon final stats. So the enemy's final stats. So it's from the Ringmon build. So we pull that off, we get the final stats, and we times it by that. So if it's 1.1, it'll increase it. If it's 0.9, it'll decrease it by sort of 10%. And then we're just making a Ringmon final strut. We make a Ringmon build, and we set our current Ringmon. And I'm just breaking it, so I'm just testing. I was just testing to see how it affects it, and it does affect it. This is the way I got it to do it. It looks very messy if you look at it like from afar. But if you break it down step by step, it works quite efficiently. It's not a bad little system. The problem with the way I've done it, so I did try setting the member, so that you only affect one, sort of one field at a time. But the problem is it would set it only ever once. It would make it once and it would never do it again. Whereas if you make the final strat, now you have to plug everything in to make sure nothing gets missed, but the result actually works that way. So I'm quite happy with the finished result, and it does work. So I did it with, I did a defensive move with Tail Whip, and I also did Growl. So I've tested attack and defense, and they do drop how you would expect them to. So it works pretty well. So I'm happy with the result. There's probably a way I can streamline this a little bit, but for now, as it's working, I don't want to break it anymore. This is unfinished. Sadly, the party buff, I've realized this during testing just before filming this. But if you follow these steps, it's because, again, look, I'm setting the member. So I thought I can actually show you how to fix this straight away. We're just buffing ourselves. So we're getting our party info, breaking our final party move stat, and again, same thing. We're getting those accuracy, those HPs, and we're timesing them by our debuff, so that we get the result we want. So whatever our speed is, we take our speed and we times it by our speed multiplier, which could be 1.1, for example, which will increase our speed, and then we set that. But don't set it with a member. This is what I need to change. You need to set it via this system. Okay, so you need to. But you don't need to set the current Ringmon, like, or the party. You can literally just plug it in, because we're firing that through, and we won't need to set that till the end. So, yeah, so I would, from here, go make, which I have done, and then I would make the final stages not set members, just like this. And then plug literally everything in. So you can see at the moment I haven't got any of this information in here. So if I haven't actually got a move that is a buff at the moment, but when I do, if I use it, it's just going to forget all this information. So that's something to bear in mind. But this will change. I will update this over the next couple of days to this system, so it works the same. And then we've got this final check. Now this is what needs to change in the couple of episodes going out. I have a move called Root Sap, which works a bit like Absorb, and I realized it affects the self and the enemy, and I was like, well, if that's the case, I need a way to check it. And instead of me thinking just add a boolean in and call it affects enemy, and I could have had a check that says, is it affecting the self? Yes. Then is it affecting the enemy? Yes. And then it knows it's doing both, and then comes up here. I stupidly just set it up with a checks the name, is it called Root Sap? And if it's like yes, then it does this up here. But I will change that to just does it check. I'll have to repeat a lot of this, so this will be an updated episode down the line for sure. But for now, it's just checking, am I using the move Root Sap? If I am, it gets the health fields. I wouldn't worry about doing this if you're not if you're following along definitely exact, then do this. But to be honest, I wouldn't worry too much about this. I mean, all it's doing is it's a health move, so I'm draining sort of 10% health, and I'm taking that away from the enemy and giving it to my player. So the way I've done that is I'm getting the health field. Again, we're timesing that by whatever the current health is, by whatever the 1.5. I'm doing this on the Ringmon, by the way. my party creature. So we're taking my creature's health, timesing that by the maximum by 1.1, and then we're taking this field, whatever this becomes. So if it's 200 and I times it by 1.1, I get 220. So I take 200. I take the max health, which is 200, from this field, which is 220, to get 20. Then I add that to my health, but then I also minus that from the enemy's health, and that's what these two things are doing. So I've got my enemy health here, so we're minusing here off of their health, which should be 20, and then we're adding where is it? We're adding this here to our party information. So I'm pulling the party info, breaking the health, setting that as the current health, and we're obviously setting everything up. This is what I mean by you have to set every field to make this struct. And then all we're doing is we're setting the current ringmon and the ring party information in slot 1, and that's getting pushed through. Excuse me. And the same thing's happening here. So what it's also checking here, this greater than, is it's seeing if this new addition to our health is greater than our max health. If it's over our max health, we don't set anything, we don't gain anything, because it's not going to do it. But if it's not, we carry on. So what I should have in here though is this greater than this? If true, I should probably just set it to my current health to my max health, instead of just cancelling the move. But it's fine. I'm not at that point yet, to be fair. And then all we're doing is we're just updating our health percentage for our enemy health, just for now. I need to add the player health in there. As I said, don't worry about this. This is going to change drastically. It's so unfinished at the moment, but I just wanted to see if I could do an absorb health kind of function. But hopefully this made sense. You have to have your return nodes on the end, and you have to, even if you're not affecting your current ringmon, for example. So if we're not affecting our current ringmon, just pull from here and plug it in, because you need to pass through your information through every stage, because eventually we're going to then go into do our enemy health, and we need all of the stats we've just updated to also go through there, so that when the enemy starts affecting us, that also has a positive or negative effect on each other. So we need to keep pushing through the information of every return node. You'll see it on every one of mine. They're all plugged in, because whatever result we end up with, whatever move we use, we need to ensure that information is still being passed through. So that's something you've got to remember, whatever you do with your moves. As I said, this needs to change to be updated to this system, but this is working perfectly, and that's how I would set each one of these up, using a break and a make function, and then setting that current ringmon. I'm just breaking this here to get the result for testing. But once you've got this working, it's just doing the reverse, right? So where we're using our ringmon, we're using the move to get our ringmon's information to then update it positively or negatively. In our case, because the player's doing an attack against them, they're debuffing it, so it's going to have a negative effect on these on the ringmon, and then we're just setting that information again here, so that it pushes through and actually updates. Here it's just the opposite, so we're just getting our player's information, so the current ringmon's information for our party, and setting that. So it's exactly the same, it's just opposite. They're just adding to this, they're taking away from this, using that multiply function. But as I say, it's just this end bit that needs to be updated to this here. So just bear that in mind if you're following along on the stat attacks. Mine will be updated probably by the next episode. And this is a bit of a mess. It works, but I need to update a few key little things, like adding in the set player health to max if that's over. And then it's just kind of, I need to streamline it in some way, make it a little bit work a little bit better. But to be honest, it's okay, it's working. I'm happy with it, it's working. So yeah. So next episode we're going to take a look at doing physical moves and special moves, and if we have enough time, we'll look at doing enemy health checks as well on top of that. But thanks so much, guys, for watching. Hopefully you found this really useful. I know there's a lot of people calling out for different tutorials, so over the next kind of couple of weeks it might be a little bit mixed up, but hopefully we'll keep continuing on with everything as a whole. So just bear with me. But thanks so much, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. It's free to do, and you can always change your mind down the line. And I will see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye.